I'd say I'm Dirty Dan.
I'd say I'm Dirty Dan.
Actually, this is Dirty Dan, the sick freak. We haven't had to do this in a while, but it seems to be needed. Can I have everyone scream at their chest in the comment section? Please don't touch the children. We had to remind Colleen. Now we have to remind everybody at Nickelodeon. Hi, welcome back to the show. I'm pissed off at people from my childhood. If you spent at least 2 minutes on social media and a millennial, you would know your childhood network is burning. Our little millennial bodies who hold nostalgia so close to our hearts are destroyed. And for once, everyone has a unified opinion that Dan Schneider is disgusting and gross, and we believe the accusations. And you know what? He's not denying many of them either.
And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
Ew. Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV was recently released on Max, which brought suspicious eyes back on former Nickelodeon producer and grown man who just had to be in the hot tub with underage Amanda Bynes for the show and the comedy.
Hi, welcome to today. My special guest is the executive producer of the main show, Dan Schneider.
Why are you wearing sunglasses in a hot tub with an underage girl? Emphasis on underage girl.
Yes, I actually wrote this whole conversation that we're having right now.
Of course you wrote your fungus self into the script. Years ago, many accusations of inappropriate and A-word behavior came out against Dan from former child stars and people that just worked with him.
For decades, Dan seemed like he was untouchable. But around 2017, the internet videos around Dan really started gaining momentum.
He had an explosive temper. He would request massages from the underage actors and actresses. The scenes in his shows had one too many adult innuendos, and adult jokes are nothing new in kids shows, right? Lip shits.
And I never knew what the lip shits was.
That scene in Shrek when they were gonna say the A word.
Please keep up on the grass, shine your shoes, wipe your face.
Millennials know this. We love those kind of things. But Dan's adult humor, well, you know what? Let me just show you how it was. The girls were always getting squirted in the mouth for some reason. This contraption that Mr. Dan said is a spitball machine that he filmed her sucking on his own camera when the cameras were turned off. He was really into girls doing things with their mouth or talking about what they can do with their throat.
What is my instrument? I'm a throat player.
Count.
And it sounds kind of gross.
Once again, that hot tub scene. Why? He always has the girl sitting on his lap. We've all seen the foot things.
Have you ever tried to get your whole big toe in your mouth?
Just, you know, he put a lot of feet clips in there.
Ew! Don't leave my feet alone!
He was always hugging the kids, kissing the kids.
This is why I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah, eat your cereal, kids.
Yeah, we know why you're in Hollywood. So you can do all of this and say, it's for kids and it's just a joke.
Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down?
And then fulfill your weird foot love.
That was amazing.
He's just such a creepy man. He's smelling Michelle Obama. I mean, she looks awkward and uncomfortable. She's a grown-ass woman. What do you think the kids were feeling? He constantly had to film them for his YouTube channel.
You know what's gonna happen if I put this on YouTube. What? You know.
No, we don't. What happens? Dan, you and your sick friends get to stare at kids and their feet?
We can play games.
You can rub my feet.
All these kids are now grown up and they're telling the people what happened behind the scenes.
Last week.
Now, some of them are starting to speak out about what happened when they were on his sets.
I worked with an incredibly emotionally abusive producer.
I did not feel safe around Dan Schneider.
They're expressing that our favorite childhood shows really weren't as fun when the cameras turned off. Shows like Sam and Cat, Drake and Josh, The Amanda Show, all that. In the recent documentary, they're telling what it's really like to work with a predator, allegedly, like Dirty Dan.
I've been waiting for someone to question the climate. It's been a long time coming.
There are all these setups that reference like squirting goo on Jamie Lynn's face.
And many that lurk on set just like him.
Drake revealed he was the unnamed minor in the 2004 assault conviction of acting coach Peck.
In the docuseries, Drake tells his story for the first time publicly, saying that he spent the night at Peck's house and, quote, I woke up and he was sexually assaulting me.
You guys should watch the 4-episode series. I was gonna break down the whole thing, but I think you guys should just watch it. A lot of the characters that I just didn't expect to see came out and said it is not a good experience.
Am I gonna put my kids into acting? I literally have zero thought before my no.
Your heart will break. I remember thinking these kids are so lucky. That's the kind of acting I want to do, just that kind of goofy, stupid humor.
Please remove your banjo from my belly button.
They must be having the absolute great time. It's like work fun.
Someone who has a criminal record as a child sex offender can find their way into this position.
One face that I definitely recognize who is constantly speaking out about the dangers of child acting is Alexa Nicole from Zoe 101. She has a whole YouTube channel dedicated to just speaking out when it comes to children in Hollywood.
A person close to Schneider said that the goo was green. So it couldn't be, you know, the other thing, because it was green. It's the placement of the goo, Dan. It's the placement.
And I remember just a few months ago, she was constantly being told that she's a liar, she just wants attention, she's a failed actress, so that's why she's saying these things. She's jealous that she wasn't the main actress on Zoe 101. She got a lot of flack when she spoke up about Jonah Hill and Justin Long.
But let's first go through Justin Long's conversation. So I'm guessing allegedly around May 2019, this fan who's 15 years old.
Well, she never quit, she never shut up, she didn't care that people thought that she was jealous. And she was also in the documentary.
I've been waiting 17 years for today.
Many people actually spoke out against Dan Schneider for quite some time, like Angelique Bates from All That. Many people were questioning her as to why she wasn't in the documentary, and she said, well, she already spoke on this for years. She was actually one of the first who did several times, and she got ridiculed and shamed by a lot of her peers, the industry, and of course, the internet, who loves to say that she's a liar. Now, I'm not saying she can't lie or no one is possible of lying about these things, but she was in the industry, the people that she's talking about have some questionable pictures and behaviors, and when you're hanging out with minors on set and you're in hot tubs with them, hugging them all the time, kissing them all the time, and doing a lot of foot scenes and squirting things on them, that's gonna raise some suspicious eyebrows. Drake Bell is someone that you probably remember. A few years ago, many people accumulated together because he had his own accusations from texting a 12-year-old girl for about 3 years. According to him, he said he didn't know her age at the time, and once that came out, all the communications apparently stopped. There's a whole 36-minute video of the court hearing, plus they talk about it in the documentary. I linked the court hearing below, it's pretty interesting to watch, but the judge even said there was no evidence that he sent her explicit type messages.
Attempted endangering children and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. These are serious allegations, but they do not involve sexual relations.
But the judge also said that she was still a fan, he took advantage of her.
However, a grown man does not engage in inappropriate text messages to a teenager. There's a reason why a 14 or 15-year-old does not have the right to drive, does not have the right to vote, does not have the right to serve in the armed forces. They don't have the emotional or mental maturity to properly gauge their conduct. So you did take advantage in that regard to somebody who could not appreciate consequences of the relationship or lack of relationship or inappropriate relationship.
And he said that he should take responsibility for all of that. It was completely settled in court. People are extremely split about this topic because it's a very heavy topic. No one will ever know who is for sure lying and who is telling the truth. So people were still quite sour toward Drake. Josh, his co-star, they had like this public fallout. Josh didn't invite him to his wedding. It was a whole big thing.
If I haven't talked to you since 2023, take that as a sign that you don't exist to me anymore.
But now, after the documentary came out, most people, even Josh, came out to support Drake because of what came out in this documentary.
And I will forever have the memory of the person you're defending violating me and doing unspeakable acts and crimes. And that's what I'll remember.
So in the documentary, it came out that Drake Bell actually got SA'd by one of Sir Dan Schneider's friend and Nickelodeon's dialogue coach. And he was only 15 on the wonderful, family-friendly Amanda show.
To hear that Brian Peck was a sex, it made me wonder immediately about who was being hurt.
Like I said, these were shows that I watched when I was a lot younger, and I'm like, wow, these people are so lucky. They must have the best life. But as I got older and you kind of learn about Hollywood, I have friends who would do anything to like just be around certain people who have power. And then the things that they told me, the things that they would tell me that they would do, and then we quickly, you know, I just wouldn't be very close to them. And I'm sure when I was friends with these types of people, they didn't tell me everything. Because, I mean, I can be quite judgmental, and my face was probably like this the whole time. And I probably said things like, why did you do that? But just from that little taste of information that I got, texts that I would see from certain people that are in these really small Hollywood circles, you know what? I believe quite a bit of what happens in Hollywood. Like all the rumors, I just believe them. Not the place that I personally want to be. And Dan Schneider didn't make it any better. Allegedly. And surprise, surprise, after the documentary came out, he has come out with this playful type apology talking about the allegations on someone who played Boogie from iCarly.
Hey, Carly! I made you some stuffed mushroom!
Who cares?
Hey, it's Boogie. I played T-Bo on Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he said yes. Dan, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Well, I'm just so happy that you're okay. Almost all the people who worked with you and for you are still recovering. So, you know, that's great for you.
Let's talk about the massages.
Yeah, let's.
It was disturbing.
To say the least.
It was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position.
Yeah.
I'd never do it today.
Because you got caught.
I'm embarrassed that I did it then.
Well, I would hope so.
I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation.
As you can imagine, the apology did not go well. The whole little podcast or interview that they did sounded like he was saying all the things that he had to say to try and get people back on his side.
Most TV writers, comedy writers have been in writers' rooms, and they are aware that a lot of times there are inappropriate jokes made and inappropriate topics come up. But the fact that I participated in that, especially when I was leading the room, it embarrasses me. I shouldn't have done it.
Look at how this man's sitting. He's sitting like someone that has been caught and trying to save his own booty cheeks. Something that I kept picking up on is that he kept saying things like, I feel so bad. Oh, this hurts me so much.
It hurts really bad for me.
I understand. I was once a poor little wannabe writer too in my younger years before I became the Dan Schneider.
I was green, I was scared, I was excited.
But like, I got super lucky when I did my auditions, and I really didn't have to struggle at all.
And I got lucky because they were great. My first couple of experiences were fantastic. And the fact that I didn't pay that forward to every employee that walked through my door, it hurts my heart because I should have.
Not only did this man have it pretty easy of climbing to the top and had amazing, great experiences with people that had more power than him, he decided to make it horrible for everyone else.
Hey, Anthony? Yes. Do me a favor? Yes. Get that.
As Dan grew more powerful, he became more verbally abusive, more aggressive, more demanding of people.
Dan's presence in the room could change the vibe of the room. Everybody would kind of just be like, okay.
People were also extremely angry about this interview because it just didn't seem genuine. It seemed like a scripted, planned out interview between two friends. And the part that cracked me up was when he talked about Drake's, you know, ABUSER. If you don't know, I can't say these words because YouTube will yellow $ my video. But he was like, oh, I can't understand how he got out of jail and still had a job.
After he got out of prison and was, to my knowledge, a registered sex offender, he was hired on a Disney Channel show. I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Is he trying to cry?
I appreciate you sharing that, man. Are you okay? You want to take a minute?
Yeah, I'm all right. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a minute, sir. He needs to realize he's not that great of an actor. And also not him trying to throw Disney under the bus and say, see, Disney has predators too. Yeah, we know. We want them all out. Honey, and I'm a Disney girly. Expose the predators. This interview was nothing more than a safe space for Dan so he could try to manipulate people into believing that he was just doing his job and made just a few mistakes, like asking for innocent massages from a 13-year-old girl or boy after a long day of making them lick feet. Or or getting squirted in the face.
Come on, give up the juice.
Or laying next to them in a hot tub.
I actually wrote this whole conversation that we're having right now.
The heaviest question that they tackled was the massages, and that's the least of his worries.
I think we really unpacked some important things. We set the record straight on a lot of things.
No, you didn't. Everyone's even more angry than they ever were before. He should have just crawled into his little hidey hole and just stayed quiet.
And I would do everything that I could to make sure that everyone had a good experience. That's what I do differently.
Dan, I appreciate your time.
It would have been better with the ukulele. Anyway, as a person who loved Nickelodeon, Disney, Cartoon Network, which I don't think back then they had live action shows because they're Cartoon Network. But as someone who still watches Nickelodeon, still watches Disney, still watches like these shows dear to my heart, I'm so happy that they're calling this out, because even if you're a millennial, people are saying, oh, this ruins my childhood. It really shouldn't. It should just open your eyes to how people are being treated. And it's wonderful that a lot of the millennials are coming out and actually speaking about the issues that child actors and adult actors probably go through with people like Dan who are in power, especially toward children. Anyway, this is my long-winded way of saying I think you guys should definitely go see Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. I definitely recommend giving it a watch. It will definitely see it differently than what you did as a child through your eyes as an adult, especially if you have children.
Public still has this image of Hollywood, of this glitz and glam and the limelight, and oh, you have the best career and it's all fine and great. They don't know what these kids went through.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I've been on the flex since flex zone.